There are moments in everyone's life when they realize they need to start over. You've been walking down a path, maybe it's a job, a relationship, a degree, a business, and then one day it hits you. This isn't right. You just feel it in your gut. You realize you've been forcing something that just doesn't fit anymore. And in that moment, you face a choice. Do you keep walking, pretending it's still the right path, or do you stop and then turn around and take the path that leads you where you're actually meant to go? Let me make this very simple. If you're driving from point A to point B and you make a wrong turn, what do? You don't cry. You don't sit there arguing with yourself about how unfair the world is. You just turn around and get back on route. You fix it. It's logical. No emotion, no ego, just correction. But in life, when people realize they've made a wrong turn, they don't turn around. They say, well, I've already gone a mile down this road. I've already invested so much time and energy. Maybe it'll lead somewhere, even though deep down they know it won't. Why? Because when you're driving, you think logically, but in life, you think emotionally. And emotion is what makes people defend their mistakes. They stay in jobs that drain them. They stay in relationships that break them. They keep chasing goals that they don't even want anymore, all because they can't accept that one turn, that one choice just wasn't right. Here's the core principle. You've got to stop punishing yourself for realizing you were wrong. Starting over doesn't mean you failed. It means you woke up. Because life isn't about never taking the wrong turn. It's about realizing it fast and then having the courage to turn back. You're not starting from zero. You're starting from experience. When you understand that, you stop being so scared of change. Because starting again isn't the same thing as starting over. It's getting back on track. You made the best decision you could with all of the information you had at that time, and now, with the benefit of hindsight and retrospect, you're punishing yourself, wishing you could have made a better choice when we both know deep down you couldn't. If you went back in time with the same amount of knowledge that you had up until that point, you would have done the exact same thing again. Because it's only with this new knowledge that you can have clarity, that you can see what you're doing clearly. That's not failure. That's evolution. Here's how I see it personally. Life is a chessboard. I don't know about you, but when I play chess, I don't sit there wishing a pawn could be a queen, or staring at my knight suddenly wishing that it could move like a bishop. You look at the board, you assess your position, and you make the best move possible with the pieces that you have. That's what starting again really is. Not crying about the pieces that you lost, but just learning to play smarter with what you've still got. The question isn't, why did this happen to me? It's, given what's on the board right now, given the position I'm in, what's the best move I can make? That question removes the emotion. It centers you in logic, in strategy, in power. And that is how you stop falling apart when life forces a U-turn on you. Most people attach happiness to an outcome. When I get there, then I'll be happy. When I have that car or I have that amount of money, then I'll feel fulfilled. But life doesn't work like that, because the second you arrive, you're already chasing something else. The peace isn't in arriving. The peace is in pursuing. The happiness of pursuit is learning to find meaning in the progress itself, not the outcome, not in the label, but in the actual process of moving forward. If you can learn to love that, then you'll never really fall apart, because no matter what happens, no matter how many times you have to redirect, you'll still be in motion, and motion is life. You've probably told yourself before, I've wasted years, I have to start over. No, you don't. You've learned, you've grown, you've gathered information. Now you're playing with more awareness. Starting over would mean that you erased what you gained, but you haven't. Every detour, every heartbreak, every mistake that you made was a classroom. And now you're walking back to the map, not as a failure, but as a guy who knows the terrain. That's not starting over, that's continuation. And continuation means progress. So the art of starting over without falling apart is really just the realization that you never really start over. You adjust, you adapt, you redirect, because you're not rebuilding from zero. You're continuing with more knowledge, and there's no shame in taking a U-turn if it gets you closer to where you were meant to be. And if you root yourself in the present, in this moment, in doing the best you can, truly, with what you have, you will always be okay. Because peace doesn't come from control. It comes from alignment. And once you stop seeing wrong turns as disasters and instead start seeing them as data, you'll never fall apart again, because you realize the simple truth, which is you haven't lost anything. You've just learned what's not yours. And now, finally, you can start walking towards what actually is. As always, if you want guidance, structure, and a guaranteed system to help you transform, it's worth checking out what I have in the description for you to apply for Nightfall and see what I have in store for those that are ready to fully commit. As always, much love, gang.